get a tattoo purely for intimidation.
A big, angry, like, gangster face.
No, that's exactly it. It's like if I was talking to somebody, I'd just be like, hey there. They'd be like, I have like all this stuff on my face, and they're just like...
You're talking like the Mike Tyson thing where it's like this massive...
And I would never talk to people, I would only talk to like generic rich white guys in suits. That's all I would talk to, just so they would be, that's so it would have maximum effect.
Yeah, well, there's a movie called Big Stan with Rob Schneider in it, and he goes to jail because he's like a crook and stuff like that. He steals people money. It's a really bad movie. It's not. It has its parts,
It has its
but
moments.
You said Rob Schneider, so...
Yeah, there's a part in the movie where he wants to get a tattoo around his anus, just to make it look disgusting, so no one will rape him in prison. That's also another kind of intimidation tattoo.
Every time someone goes to rape them, they like, ah! Yeah.
They look like you have glass shards in your anus. It's like, I'm about to break you even more. And he's like, uh-oh, that was a waste of money.
What is this, unbreakable or something?
Yeah.
Mr. Glass?
They call me
That's
Mr.
what they
Glass.
call
Thump, thump. Okay, if I were to get any tattoo, the only thing I would really think of, or the thing that I thought of the last time that I seriously considered getting one, would be one of the different Lantern Corps symbols, or several of them, possibly on the arms or maybe shoulders. Maybe not the arms, because that's kind of a cliched thing now. But in the DC comics, they have different lanterns now. Instead of just Green Lantern, you have Green Lantern, what is it, blue. They use the Roy Jabiv pattern, so it's like red, orange, yellow, and they all represent different things. Some of them compassion, some of them willpower. I think I'd go with willpower and maybe hope or compassion, I guess. Or the violence one, I don't know, it's pretty good. The rage one is a pretty good symbol, I have to say.
That's
It's a fist.
Yeah, it's more pointy than the rest, so I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think? Is it the cost compared to the rest of your life? Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's like if you have a $100 tattoo, is it worth spending that $100 to be
Marked for the rest of your life.
marked for life?
Well, you just get removed.
It costs
But it costs a lot of money and it's painful surgeries.
Yeah.
Like, it's painful.
But it's a laser, isn't it? A laser.
It's not a
Yeah,
quick
but
thing,
it's still
though.
burning the image off
That's
of your
why
skin.
they give you drugs to fall asleep.
True. Drugs are good.
They go through like layers of skin though. Like they do one and then it's like here's one layer.
They just
It's
peel
like,
off your skin with a knife.
What is it, like
the
Hellraisers?
No, like the Terminator. They just kind of it's like, get out of here.
And then they can test.
Oh.
They can test if you're a robot while they're doing it. It's
Yeah.
like I see bone. He's good. You know.
They're like, you can check if that's bone. Yeah, that's bone, all right. Like, oh.
For me, having a tattoo, it would be like if you have like say, I don't know. Let me think of something silly like a cheeseburger in your arm. It's like cheeseburgers may be your favorite food, or it's like having something that have to have value, have to have meaning. Like I said earlier, I want to have my son's name.
Because he's your first son.
It's my son. He's always gonna be my son. No matter what he does, he's.
All I want is my son.
Like a lot of people are like, oh, I got my girl's name, or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's the
Doesn't mean
stupidest thing.
that there
Yeah,
could be a long
like my
lasting-
wife, heaven forbid something happens where she could, we could get divorced, something could happen.
She may die.
Well, if she dies, she would still, in a sense, would have been my wife
Yeah.
to the end.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, having like a significant other's name, that could be limited. But having like a son or a child, they're always going to be your son or child. They can't just one day be like, I'm not your kid no more. I mean,
Unless your kid changes genders, then you're screwed.
You hate your kid. You're like, I hate you. I don't want to tattoo you anymore. I hate you. Disappointed.
Then you take a butter knife, put it under a lighter, and then melt the skin off.
or I can be like Terminator.
21 grams. That's a good movie. Oh yeah.
He's like, just flick it off.
So that's my opinion when it comes to the cost of having a tattoo.
That's first place owl.
What would you think? Is it worth it, Eric?
Well, as I said, the only tattoo I would get is like that stuff for practical uses. I would never get a tattoo for aesthetic. As far as practical as a tattoo can get, other than intimidation, like you said. But
You could get
Yeah.
it just like, I don't know.
You could be a
Picking up
map. I don't know.
woman or
Yeah.
a man.
But anywho, if I did get one of those tattoos or something like it, I do think it would be worth it for like. I mean, if you get one to protect yourself from something that would kill you, if it doesn't work, then it's not like you have to worry about your tattoos anymore. Anyways.
True.
It-
I know. In some prisons they tattoo people, meaning
Yeah.
like how many people you killed, or
Yeah, you
even like
gotta
the teardrop.
Shave your eyebrow.
Yeah, and they do stuff like that. It's weird, but
If you
it's
stop
that
shaving it, they come back.
it's that culture, you know.
Yeah,
Hard life.
whatever, they say, prison is a part of society, but in my opinion, I think prison is its own society in a sense.
Yeah, cigarette money.
Because you got a type of currency, you got groups of people, you got traditions, you got. So like if you're in prison, I was in the prison gang, you're gonna mark yourself because that, in a sense, was at the time your family.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So now let's kind of veer towards the piercing. We've been going mainly for tattoos. Piercings. What do you guys feel about them? There's a lot of weird pierces like the gauges. People get them out to like this big now. It's just like it. I personally think you got to think about your rest of your life, because you're gonna have this huge hole in your ear. They will grow back together, but it's gonna be like it's gonna be like really nasty, and that right there, that's just it. Especially when you're old, it's gonna be all wrinkly and it's gonna look bad. So you gotta have to think about the rest of your life.
I think people who go to the extreme of getting like the crazy face tattoos, like the wacky extreme piercings and studs in their scalp and all that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, wacky. I really don't think. I mean, this is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I don't think those people actually think that they're gonna live long enough for that to happen.
True.
Because these people are like, oh, I'm hardcore, I'm crazy, I'm gonna die when I'm 30. From jumping from a car to a car off a freeway.
I'm gonna die from parachuting out of a blimp into a lake filled with alligators with chainsaws.
Yeah,
Something
while
like that.
juggling chainsaws or something. Yeah.
Yeah, chainsaws
like-
on chainsaws.
Yeah.
So it's like, if some guy's like, oh, I'm getting my ear gauged, and people are like, oh, well, what's going to happen, 40 years? In his mind, he might be like, well, I'm not going to live that long because, the drugs, the rock and roll, or,
The drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's true.
But I mean, like I said, I could be totally wrong. These people
Yeah.
might just think, hey, maybe I can, hang my grandchildren in them.
Uh,
You never know.
Raise babies.
So
The babies can
put his
gnaw
wallet
on for
in.
teething. They're like,
Oh, that'd be so gross. Oh my god.